Yep, so if I draw this flat, anyone watching this should be able to see, because I've set the cameras up so you can see my lap as it were. So if you get the clutch up about there and the clutch down about there, do you know about the biting point?
Yes.
What's that?
So you lift your foot off the clutch and it kind of sort of shakes a bit.
That's it. So that's when the two plates, it's like a metal rod, two metal rods. Think of like two hands. So there's one hand over there, one hand over there. So when you clutch it down, the two hands are apart. Well, like the two parts of the engine are apart.
Okay.
So the one on the left is your engine. It doesn't actually look anything like this at all, but it's just the way of thinking about it. It's, in real life, it's like a horseshoe kind of shaped thing. But you got the engine over there, the tyres over there. So when you clutch it down, the engine and the tyres aren't together, so nothing's going to really work. When you clutch it up all the way, the two plates, two hands, whatever you want to call them, you might have heard of clutch plates. Maybe.
No,
So
sorry.
it doesn't matter if you don't know any of this, but if you hear about clutch plates, this is what the clutch plates are. So like two plates come together, so when it's up you clutch, the plates are locking and gripping, the engine turns the tyres, off you go. When the clutch is down, the engine and the tyres are apart, nothing works, well, nothing will make you move.
Okay.
So the biting point you mentioned before is where the two plates start to rub, start to kind of grip together. Let's put this down there because didn't expect to shut the windows down today.
Yeah, it's very
So,
nice, isn't it?
When you're moving off, where is the biting point roughly? How far up is it? If you imagine that's your foot down, that's your foot up on the clutch. How far would it normally be up before you feel the pull?
Kind of in the middle somewhere.
Yep, that's it. It's different in every car. This one, it's a little bit lower than the middle. It's about there. It's just below the middle, and it's about £6 a pound coin. Do you know if you had a petrol or a diesel before? It doesn't really matter, but just wondered.
I'm not entirely sure, sorry.
No, it was probably, I'm guessing, the petrol, because most of those are petrols, the little titers, but it could be either. The things in the diesel, like this one being a diesel, it's a little bit easier to find the biting point, because in the petrol it's just a little bit thinner. So it's not that petrols are bad, they're not bad, but they're just kind of harder to find the biting point. So you might notice if you drive a petrol, it does feel quite different to begin with. Some cars don't feel much different, some do. But petrols are generally a little bit harder to find the biting point. So the first thing you've got to do to move off on the hill, which demonstrate this, I'll go clutch down into one. Now normally on the flat, where would you have the clutch? Like how high on the biting point would it be?
If you're what, sorry?
So if you're on a flat road, so there's no hills, just like a totally flat road, which point on there would you need your clutch to be at? Able to move off. If you haven't done this before.
Somewhere around, no.
That's it, so it's like very low, so it's like right on the bottom of the biting point.
Okay.
So you want your clutch as low as you can. So on a flat road, you don't need much power because you're not going to roll back. So you could have your clutch right for the bus to go, because you can't sort of hit the engine with the bus. So when your clutch is about there, that'll be okay for a flat road, so you feel it pulling. But on an uphill, what would you do differently to get more power?
Would you put your foot off the clutch a bit more?
Yeah, that's it. So when I say clutch up is like, when it sounds obvious, up is kind of up, because some people call more clutch down, but that's less clutch. Right. So less clutch is down, more clutch is up. So the clutch comes up more like that. So instead of feeling like that, it feels like that.
Okay.
So you get the growl, it sort of pulls. If you watch the bonnet now, when the bonnet's sort of level about there, when I lift the clutch higher, it goes from there to there.
Ah, yes, I see.
And not much like a subtle change. So on the flat, ideally you would start on a flat road, but further on when we pulled up there was a bus, so I couldn't start there. So the only difference is, compared to what you did before, that would be a flat, when you do the same as you normally do. On an uphill you start with the clutch a little bit higher, about there. And when you go, you don't have to lift your clutch much at all. You pause it for about 2 seconds, then lift it, because you've got to give time for the hill the car to take effect with the hill. Anyway, let's give that a go. It is quite hard moving off on the hill for the first time, but you've got to do it some time anyway, so you might as well try now. So, do you want me to talk you through it, or do you want to do it on your own?
So could you talk me through it, sorry?
That's it. So then when you swap instructors and cars or whatever, it's confusing, because you've got to kind of get used to different methods and techniques. They're all essentially the same, but they might sound different because we all teach different ways. So you go clutch down all the way.
Okay, yep.
Over into first gear. And then you do a little bit of gas, because you might know from before you need gas before the clutch. If you do the clutch on its own, it does work, but not so well.
Okay.
So that's good. But even at 1 point, do you know about the rev counter?
No, sorry.
So the rev counter, that one on the left, it goes 1 to 6.
Okay.
So how many revs do you think you need when you move off? Like that's like the power, how much power would you need?
So on here, maybe quite a lot if we're on a hill.
So a bit more, but how much is that?
maybe a 3.
So 3 would be way too much. So 3 would be
Oh,
wasted
okay.
anyway. So, yeah, so you only have 1 point. So you know it's on about 1 now. We'll call that 1. It's on like 0.8, whatever we'll call that 1. So you need about 1.5-ish roughly. So you don't need much at all. So if you rev the gas out, just so it revs to about 1.5. But it doesn't have to be about 1.3 anywhere around there. Even that, whatever that is. That's good. Because where I am, I have to kind of lean a bit. Yeah, that's good. On
Yeah.
1.5. So now try and lift the clutch up just so you feel that pull, like a slight pull, like I mentioned. It's about a third of the way up, roughly. That's good. That drone. That's it. That's good. So that will be a flat road. Now try and lift it 1 millimetre higher the clutch. That's it. So it growls, kind of groans and drones, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Okay. So where would you have to look before you go?
I look in the mirrors and I look in the blind
Yeah,
spots
that's
as
good.
well.
And you need to signal or not?
Yes, I do.
Why is that?
So that they know I'm going to start driving.
Yep. Who's they?
The car's behind
That's
me.
it, that's good. So if no one's there, like when that van's gone, you don't have to. But if you want to, you can, doesn't matter for now.
Okay.
But you don't have to if no one's around. Okay, so we'll signal just for the
So
sake of
right,
practice.
this
That's,
is up.
that's good. And then what do you do now?
I'm going to push a little bit more on the gas and pull off the...
That's it. What do you need before that though? Because otherwise you won't move. Something's
Oh,
like-
I need to put the handbrake
That's it,
down.
that's good.
Oh.
So how am I doing? I'll explain that in a second, that's good. That's fine.
Oh, sorry.
That's good. So the
fast.
signal comes off. For the moment, we're not really bothered about little things here and there that go wrong, you know, we're just kind of working on the moving. Do you know how to brake and all that? Would you want me to do that for you?
You clutch down and the middle pedal.
Yep, that's good. So just pull up somewhere, just anywhere around here. We're not bothered about movers and signal for now because there's no one around. So just clutch like so, that's good. Very light, that's good, that's it. And then what do you do before your feet can come off?
You put... Oh, okay, no, you don't put your clutch in neutral, you just handbrake.
Yep, that's good. So handbrake goes on. And then before that, what do you need before
Oh, sorry.
that? What do you do before that comes up?
I'm not
So
sure.
neutral. So there's handbrake on, back into neutral. And then you can lift your feet.
Oh, sorry.
That's it. Because if you do that, that's kind of trying to move off in one. So you're trying to sort of move off, you know, at the same time as pulling over. That's what we were saying earlier on about if you turn on in one, that's what happens. It stalls straight away. So the 2 checks we did before, handbrake is on, gear's in neutral, and we can turn back on.
Okay.
Right, so if you want to just hold the clutch, foot it down, we can turn back on. That's it. Braking I'm not too worried about for now because that comes in more next time because we've only got an hour today, normally we do 2 hours. The braking I'm not that bothered about. It's, you notice the brakes are quite firm as well because they're quite new brakes, so
Yeah.
you don't have to do brake too much.
This
at
is
all.
this is easier, I
Yeah.
think.
All cars feel different, so we'll take a few lessons or a few hours to get used to this car. But by the end of the next one, you'll probably be more used to it. Right, so that moving off is pretty good. But why was it moving with the handbrake on? Because you noticed the car was moving before the handbrake had come off.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I was like,
That's one thing about diesel, because diesels are so strong at low speed, they'll pull really hard. So with the handbrake on, you can drag the car easily with the brakes on. Some petrols will do that as well, but diesels do really drag. Because you know buses are all diesel, trains are all diesel, that's why, because they can drag big weights. So a train, because you can with a train, do you?
Yes.
That's probably a diesel train you was on. Diesels can pull really heavy weights at low speed. So you can go into first gear like that, and you can move off with a handbrake on, it will just move down the road. But of course that will wreck your handbrake.
Yeah.
So what was wrong with your clutch that made you move with the handbrake on? Because it was something to do with the clutch that made that happen.
Was it? Oh, it was because my clutch was up a bit more.
Yeah, that's it. Now, not much, but how much is too much? Like between what's the difference between having it good and having it bad? The clutch.
When I'm doing my handbrake, should it be fully down the clutch?
It should be up a little bit, but like how much difference is there between right and wrong? Like is it like that? Is it a lot or is it a little bit more? If you don't know, it doesn't matter.
I'm not
It's just
sure.
if you watch my clutch there, if I go clutch down into one, if you didn't know pedals at all now, that's it.
Better.
When I do mine like that, if you watch my foot, you probably won't see this move at all. But that would be okay, whereas this is too high. My foot barely moved, so it's only like 1 millimetre at the most. You only have to move your foot a tiny bit for it to be too high. So it's pretty good. You just got to get it about there. All it was is when you were looking around, your foot started to move up a little bit. So you've got to make sure your foot stays dead still. It's hard at first because you've got to get used to different pedals and the way they feel in a different car. Yeah, that's no big problem for now. But let's give that another go.
Okay.
So now stage you want to do moving off on your own, but I've just got to check you know all these things because I know you haven't done uphill. So this is all, unfortunately, most of this road is uphill.
Yeah.
There's only a few flat parts.